Namaste. Today we learn about speech and language. This lesson will cover multiple subjects from your syllabus, including Samskrit, science, specifically biology and physics. We learn the theories from the Indic systems and also use the best of tools available from the stable of artificial intelligence in engineering today. We'll go back in time and learn about the discoveries of Panini, Patanjali, and the tradition of Indian grammarians and their science of grammar or Vyakarana. You will also learn how speech is analyzed in physics today and the organs of speech from biology. We will also be using spectrograms and frequency analysis of speech components. So I promise this will be a very exciting lesson for you. Okay, so let us start. How do we speak? We know from biology that we start with the expiration of air from the lungs, which passes through the folds of the larynx and produces sound. The sound is then shaped by the cavity of our mouth and nose, and it produces the different phonemes, or the loosely translated the different aksharas, etc. But it is interesting that these theories were known to the tradition of the Vedic sages in the Pratishakshyas and the later Shiksha Shastra as well. For instance, in Panini Shiksha, which is a text on phonetics, there is talk about how sound is produced. And it does not start just from expiration of air from the lungs. It starts from the instant we decide to speak something. And this is how that sloka from Panini Shiksha goes. Atma buddhya sametyarthan mano yumte vivakshaya manaha kayagni mahanti sa prerayati marutam marutas turasi charan mandram janayati swaram, and so on and so forth. So the story of sound starts from when I decide to speak, and it forms shape first in my intellect, in the brain. It then induces the abdominal areas to squeeze and then induce expiration and expel the air from the lungs and thereon to make all the sounds. Now it is very interesting that today research has shown that the speech in our intellect, before even it is spoken out and heard outside, that speech, which is called as imagined speech, can be decoded from the brain, even though the speech is not heard outside. So this shows how beautifully the Indian sages have traced the origin of the speech all the way to the point where it first takes shape and form within the brain. Right? And now, when we talk of the speech that is heard externally, that is the BHeri, these sounds or the aksharas that form are broadly of two types. One is swara, the other is a vyanjana, right? Which is basically vowel and consonant. Now, swaras are produced by continuous expiration of air, and stopping it partially or fully creates consonants or vyanjana. This process of stopping it partially or fully is called as articulation. So now, for example, swaras are like a, e, u. These are all swaras, and vyanjanas are like k, ch, t, t, p, etc. Swaras are so called because swayam rajate. They can exist by themselves. It can blaze forth on its own, and it doesn't need anybody else. Now you can actually try it out and say e, u. You can say it for as long as you want, as long as there is air in your lungs. You can keep saying it. But then now try to say ka. You will only hear a. The ka was a very short transient that came in and went away. However, now, although we know that only the vowels are independent and they can hold forth on their own, the consonants or vyanjanas are transient, they just come and go. However, if you want to convey meaning, then the meaning is conveyed by this mixture of swaras and vyanjanas. Try saying something with only swaras, etc. You just cannot convey meaning. For meaning, you also need the vyanjanas. Now, the terminologies used in the Indic value are very, very interesting. The word vyanjana is also the word for a side dish, which is basically your sabjis and curries. And swaras and vyanjanas are pretty much like chawal or roti, which is like a swara, the most essential component of a lunch or dinner, without which lunch is not completed. But then you cannot just eat chawal or roti. You need some sabji and curry and all of that. And this is how beautifully the Shiksha Shastras and the Indian tradition of grammarians looks at speech, where it is a mixture of our basic roti chawal with the sabjis, and both of them mixed together will give you all these beautiful, delectable feasts. Now let us actually see these swaras and vyanjanas on the spectrogram. Okay, so Dhara, can you please open spectrogram? I would like to show them the different uh, parts of speech and how they actually look. Here, we are here. Thank you very much. Okay, so on the bottom part of this panel is a time series, which basically means that the amplitude of the sound as it is spoken is actually displayed like a graph. On the top panel is the frequency component of what I am going to speak. Right. So now I'm going to say a swara, which is right. So now you can see it as solid bands in certain bands, and these bands, frequency bands, are called as formants. And the pattern of the formants is like a signature of that swara. You can see that it is different for e, u, right? So for each of these, the pattern of those bands are different, and that is a signature. But then when I try to speak a composite word with swara and vyanjana, let's say amma, appa, etc., you can see the bands of the swaras and broken by the vyanjana between, right? So this is an enunciation of how speech is looked at from the Indian traditions and also in the West traditions of modern science, engineering, physics, and biology. And we will stop our lesson here and continue next time. Dhanyavad. Namaste. Welcome to this class. I hope you have all revised the last class lessons on the architecture of an Indian temple. And if you're all ready, we can have an in-class short test today. Okay. So who wants to go first? Avinash? All right. Please wear the 3D headset and let's get ready. And show me a thumbs up after you're ready so I can start asking you questions. And you can respond from within the 3D environment by gazing at the correct objects or pointing to it and answering my questions. Okay.
Yes, sir. I am ready.
Okay. All right. So now I want you to start descending towards the temple. Okay. And once you descend, I want you to walk up and enter through the entrance that is visible in front of you. Okay. Okay, pause and stop now. Okay. Now I want you to show where is the Vimana.
It is there.
Okay. All right. Yes, I get it. Okay. Show me where is the Rangamantapa.
Okay.
You can move ahead and show me where is the Rangamantapa. And when you find the Rangamantapa, enter it.
So here is the Rangamantapa.
Okay, all right. Enter it, please.
Yeah.
I want you to enter and stand at a place where you can see the Garbhagriha.
Yes.
All right. Now show me where is, point out where is the Garbhagriha.
Here.
Okay. Right. So point out where is the Nandi.
This is the Shivlinga. Nandi.
Right. Do you remember? So Nandi is going to be right opposite to the Shivlinga on the opposite side. If you
Yeah.
stand at the center, you look at the Shivlinga. Right behind you is going to be Nandi because Nandi is looking right at the Garbhagriha. All right.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let us stop here and maybe you can hand it over to Tripti.
Yes. Thank you.